As Woodbine grew into a small city, the constraint of the region's services began to take its toll on the newly developed area, ushering crime, disease, and danger. To remedy the issues, the local government came in to pose a series of construction projects, providing doctors with a hospital to practice, police enforcement, a building to constrain criminals, and much, much more. Heyo and welcome to another episode of Pine Harbor County, where we will use and abuse the new operating district mechanic that was introduced in Cities Skylines 2. In the last episode, we filled in the downtown Woodbine area with a mixture of zoning. Naturally, this growth has brought some strain on our services and has restricted our buildings from leveling up. So, in today's episode, we are going to solve this problem by introducing some municipal areas featuring each of our services. But before we jump into it, I want to go over a recent poll that was active in the community post. And yes, we will in fact be using mods in today's build, and I am wicked excited. I've already played around with the line tool a bit as well as the extended roads, so we will be using both mods today. And yeah, I'm just really excited to use it. We've got line tool ready to rock out right here. And our extended roads are already loaded in. So let's jump right on in to building a municipal area. So the first of our services I want to build is within our communications tab, and that includes both the radio tower as well as the post office. And I thought that this area right down here would be it'd be a good way to kind of fill in this space here. And if I zoom out here, it also provides a decent amount of coverage. So what I want to do is come in with an alleyway, because we don't need something particularly big. And I just want to start spacing this out so that we can fit the post office right on in and nice and snug against the connector, the Woodland Street connector right here. All right, so next I also want to place in a radio tower here, as we also need some coverage. And I actually think I'm going to use the telecom tower because I want to use its height a little bit to help taper in with this Woodbine area, with the downtown Woodbine area. Sorry about that. This is how you can tell I haven't had any coffee yet today, which is only a partial lie. I've already had one cup of coffee. I'm probably going to go get a second cup of coffee very soon, though. All right, so we've got the post office in. We've got it selected to Woodbine. And now we have our telecom tower in as well. Might even need another telecom tower down the line. But I've left a little bit of space in this area so that we can kind of decorate it up with our new snazzy mod. And yeah, I think I like how this comes out a little bit here. And while I'm not usually someone who likes putting telecom and radio masts in the middle of a city, this just kind of looks kind of good. Build a custom park around it. Okay, so with a second cup of coffee in hand, the next thing I want to do is actually come on in here and scatter a couple of mailboxes throughout, especially in the areas where the post office doesn't really reach. So I think we'll come in, probably put one right down here. Yes, I know that's green, but it should make sense there, I think. We will also place one right here to increase the coverage for out that way, hopefully. All right. That should just about cover everything there. Yeah, see, this is one of the things I did now that I had the line tool. Right here. Look at that. So straight, so evenly spaced. And it only took me a couple of minutes. Not, well, a couple minutes, more like a couple seconds. Stick around for that beautifying the build time lapse, guys, because I'm wicked excited to get to use these mods. All right, now that we have all of that in, just look at that difference. What used to be a whole lot of red is now a whole lot of vibrant green coverage. So, sweet, yeah. I think we are ready to move on to the next service. So the construction of the downtown area has increased the population drastically, but with that, the crime rate and the poverty of Woodbine has also increased. Therefore, I want to take some time now to come in and plop in some police and administration services. Now, what I would like to do is actually kind of come in off this roundabout that we built a couple episodes back and kind of center the administration office first off of a new road right here. So let's come on in, get a 3-lane asymmetrical. I'm going to line it up to the best of my ability with our driveway to the botanical garden. And I'm just going to kind of draw that in just like so. Let's turn off our snap to guidelines for a second here. And that places our welfare office centered to the entrance road right here and kind of keeps it nice and centered. Also gives it a little bit of better height with this tall arterial road right here, I think. Okay, so I don't want this area to be as dense as the downtown area, so let's take an opportunity to add in some very low assets and get some parking and maybe some green space in this area. So what I think I'm going to do is probably just start with some good old parking. I know we added some here, but I'm American. I like my parking. So let's go in right there. And let's pull another alley up this way. And let's see if we can fit a little, maybe even a large park in here. Not quite. Maybe one more cell lane. We might actually be able to fit that large one in. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I wonder if we can... I think I like it better when the pavement kind of stretches there. Okay, so you're gonna notice I actually upgraded Underhill Street here to a 2-lane road instead of an alleyway. This way, hopefully some traffic flow works a tad bit better in this area. So we're gonna place the police headquarters here, and I'm choosing the headquarters for 2 reasons. First, I wanted to hopefully cover all of Woodbine as the city itself grows. And second, well, chunk. Even though I don't want this area to be particularly tall, I do want it to be pretty chunky. So let's come on in, and what I'm going to do is extend this alley this way. And then I am going to place the, where is it? Police and Administration, police, the headquarters itself, right here. See if we can get it, see how centered we can get it too. Okay. I think that worked out pretty well. Yeah. Criminals beware. You won't get very far with your shenanigans in Woodbine. And now hopefully we will have less homeless camps in the botanical gardens with the administration building. So yeah, seems like a win-win to me. Since I don't really want this area burning down, let's go in next and add a fire station. And because I just really, really love how the fire station asset looks, yeah, we're gonna add the big one. And I'm gonna do it right behind the welfare office so that it can be seen over the other buildings. And we are going to add some of the extensions in as well. So let's come in first with an alleyway. And I figured that was gonna be a little too close. Let's come in right off of here. Grab that good old fire station and let's line that bugger right up. Centered over the welfare office. And then let's chunk it up a little bit and add in the garage extension. And what else do we want to add? How about the training facilities? Because I just love how it kind of caps over this. It must be like a gymnasium or something inside. Anyway, I like how these two just kind of morph together. It might be one of my favorite little fusions of the assets here. But let's also take a look at how it looks like from the other directions. Nice. I don't think we can fit a parking spot in there. No, because it's 3. And our what's the words I'm looking for? Come on, Nama. Our smallest parking lot is 5 cell units deep. So yeah, it's not going to fit there. But it's a good decorating opportunity for sure. Sweet. So next I want to add in the hospital, and I want to add it behind the police headquarters, but a bit more off center. So I want to have the asset kind of span over these two. And because a lot of our buildings here are complaining about unreliable healthcare coverage, we are going to come in with the actual hospital itself versus just a medical clinic. So I want it to kind of be added right here and a little bit back. So let's come in with another alleyway. And I think we'll just try squaring that off like that real quickly. Okay, so what I did here is I wanted to line this parking lot a little off center, so I might even actually nudge this one more cell to the side here. And then let's kind of come down to a lower view. Ooh. Oh, those two fused really nicely together from that angle. What does it look like from the side? Okay, I think this may have just become one of my favorite little sight lines here. That's just amazing. All right, so I do want to actually put the squirrel back on the wheel inside my brain here. And let's put a specialized treatment ward here, as well as a trauma center. And the idea is this is closer to the downtown area, so I do want it to be a lot bigger, with a lot bigger, wider coverage, sorry. So hopefully that helps cover that a little bit here. Get the rest of the assets looking only to Woodbine here. There we go. And yeah, again, just so good. With the hospital constructed, we also need to stop and add in some death care services to the citizens of Woodbine as well. And I think I'm going to honestly just keep this one nice and simple and plop it in right over here. And we're not... Well, I wasn't initially thinking actually of going with a cemetery, but maybe we could mess with that a little bit. So let's come in here. Let's put down the crematorium that I originally planned. And then what my squirrel brain is kind of thinking here is it's wondering if we can kind of work in a bit of a cemetery fusion here, kind of like what we did over here in Bunyan's Rest. So we built this a couple of episodes ago, and it's just grown in so nicely. Wow. And I liked how it spanned over the I-3 North Highway, which gotta fix that to I-3 South. So I wonder if we can do the same thing. So what I think I'm gonna do is come on over here and just see what I can kind of fuse together, kind of at the spur of the moment here. So I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, let's see how this looks a little bit. This area will probably get filled in with a little bit of a mixture of row housing as well as a forest, just to give it a little bit of green space, I think. But I think this is pretty okay. Oh, that's looking quite nice. Okay, I think this is okay, especially for like a spur of the moment thing. So I think what we'll do, maybe in the Beautifying the Build Timelapse, we'll come in, we'll finish extending some of these roads and put in some row housing here, maybe a forest up here. This is technically Alder's Bend here. There we go. So I think what we're going to do is this. We're going to take this cemetery and assign it to Alder's Bend, which is still undeveloped. And we'll take this area and put it down for Woodbine. This way, we have a little bit of service here already. And then we can still kind of play with that fusion that I kind of enjoy doing. So yeah, I think that came out pretty okay. All right, so that pretty much just covered most of our area here with health and death services. And I guess that really just leaves us with one more service to provide the area. And that is our good old education. So let's jump into that next. So while you may see that our education coverage in this area is pretty green, you're gonna notice if there is one thing in Pine Harbor County, it's that education every time is constantly in need in one place or the other. So while we're not necessarily in a crisis because our high school and our colleges are fine, I don't think it's a bad idea to maybe put in a university and always, just always elementary schools. Yeah, always elementary. So let's come into a bit of a time lapse here, as I'm probably going to start using that extended road upgrades mod and begin shaping in an area for some zoning, whilst also placing in some of these educational services. So, alrighty, I will see everyone in a few moments. Okay, I think I like how this came out. So let's see how it actually looks with a before and after info view. Alrighty, so the university's doing a little bit better here. I did increase the high school and the college capacity too, because hypothetically, as we fix this elementary school deficit, it will, it's going to end up trickling probably into high school and college, all based on the graduation and dropout rates a little bit here. But I think this kind of helps put a band-aid a little bit more on our education issues. And yeah, I think that worked out pretty well. Okay, so I think it's time to start a good old beautifying the build time lapse, and I'm gonna start with some zoning decoration and plant some foliage with our new and improved line tool. So let's dig on in, and I will see everyone in a few moments. Well, that just about wraps up today's episode. If you enjoyed, please consider helping the channel grow by subscribing and hitting the like button below, or even leaving a comment with your favorite part of today's episode. Next week, we'll be tackling a large TLC checklist and fixing many of the various issues across Pine Harbor County, so please make sure to stay tuned into that episode 25 next week. And as always, until next time, I hope everybody has a phenomenal week.